Hi, I'm Andy Glass with WorkshopAddict.com. Today we have a really cool project for you. It's an 8x10 picture frame out of ambrosia maple, but it's not your everyday picture frame. Depending on which orientation it sits in, you either pull on the top or one of the sides to reveal a hidden compartment. Now in this compartment you can store whatever you'd like, such as valuables, cash, passports, etc. Or you can put some home defense items like a gun or a knife to keep away from your kids. In this particular frame, I have a Glock 22 .40 caliber handgun sitting in some Kaizen foam that's easily accessible and ready to use to defend your family and your home. Now in this video I'm going to show you how I make it. We will have some plans available on our website, WorkshopAddict.com. Stick around, hope you enjoy.
I start by taking some ambrosia maple and freshen up one edge at my joiner. I then head to the table saw to cut the front frame parts to width. I alternate between the table saw and joiner, making sure that the cuts are nice and straight. I then head to the miter saw station and cut the parts to length. I first cut all the ends and make them nice and square. I then put that end against the stop block and cut them to length. When using a stop block, you want to make sure you hold the parts in between the blade and the stop block or have a clamp on it. You can also make your cut and let the blade come to a complete stop before letting the saw come back up. I'm going to be using the Festool domino for all my joints. I understand this is an expensive tool, but this project is completely achievable using traditional mortise and tenon joinery or even dowels. In preparation for the dominoes, I mark out all the good faces and where I want them to be facing when assembled. The domino makes a mortise in your part, and then you insert a loose tenon stock. You can buy the stock or make them yourselves. I make an exact size mortise on the short pieces and then a loose mortise on the longer pieces. This will allow me to shift the parts left or right to align them when gluing them up. Here I am testing my first joint. I tap in the loose tenon and then push the parts together, perfectly flush with the ability to adjust the left or right movement to align the edge. Before assembly, I sand the inside faces at the edge sander, as it is easier to do now than when it is assembled. I glue up the frame and apply a little clamping pressure. Here you can see me tapping the parts to make them flush to the outside. With the frames dry, I bring them to the edge sander and make all the outside edges nice and smooth. I head back to the table saw and adjust the width to make the deep part of the frame. For explanation purposes, I will call this the carcass. The width of these parts will determine the depth of your frame and how much room your compartment will have, minus the back panel and the inset. Just like before, we head to the miter saw station and cut these parts to length. I am again going to use dominoes to join these parts together. Dowels or other joinery methods are perfectly suitable for this project. To allow the back panel to slide in and out, we need a groove. I make this groove at the router table with a 1/4 inch spiral bit. I complete the operation in 2 passes. On the longer pieces we need a stop groove, otherwise they'll be seen on the ends. I do this by using 2 clamps as a pivot position to allow me to pivot the part onto the bit and then pivot it off the bit. I glue up the carcass, but making sure only to glue one side. If you glue all the joints, you will lose your hidden compartment. Here's the front frame before running them through the drum sander, and here it is after. I still touch it up a bit with the random orbit sander. To allow the picture to be easily placed in the frame, we need a rabbet on the front frame. I do this at the router table with a rabbeting bit. This rabbet will allow the plexiglass, picture, and backing to sit nice and neat and not take up room in the compartment. You can chisel the corners square or leave them rounded and round your plexiglass and backing material. We are using plexiglass in case this frame actually needs to be used in an emergency situation and don't need to worry about real glass. I sand the back panel nice and smooth in preparation for gluing it to the moving side. I apply masking tape to prevent any glue from touching the side we don't want glued. We are going to glue the frame to the carcass. I use 2 23 gauge pin nails to keep the frame from shifting, and then apply clamping pressure with 6 parallel clamps. I then apply some glue to the middle of the groove and slide the back panel and side in place. I want this to dry in position so we don't have to worry about any misalignment. With the now completed frame dry, I apply a couple dabs of glue to the domino on the moving side to keep them in position. I then apply some heated up paste wax to the edges of the panel and to the other end of the domino to allow the panel and the movable side to slide on and off easily. I take the entire unit to the edge sander to flush everything up. I hit it off camera with a random orbit sander and then take it to the drum sander to flush the top and bottom edges and joints up. I cut some Kaizen foam on the table saw to be placed in the compartment. I always cut it a little bit long and then adjust the fence and clean up the opposite edge. I trace out my Glock 22 with Fast Cap's long nose marker and cut it out using their new skinny razor knife to make all the sharp turns a breeze. With a little spray adhesive, I secured the Kaizen foam to the back panel. I gave it a couple coats of rattle can shellac while sanding in between coats. I can then put in the plexiglass, the photo, and hardboard backing and secure with a picture frame nailer.
Well, what'd you guys think? I thought the picture frame turned out great. The ambrosia maple is absolutely beautiful. The concept and execution of the hidden compartment was flawless with one exception. This one is a little bit too easy to open and close. Now on this one, I may put some magnets in there to provide a little bit more resistance, but ones in the future I will spend a little bit more time fitting that back panel so it doesn't open and close so easy. With that being said, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, constructive criticisms, leave them below and I will be happy to provide some feedback. With that being said, we will have plans made available for this project. If the plans are available right now when this video is live, there'll be a card in the corner or a link in the description. I did make one or two extra of these to make available in a giveaway. So again, link in the description or card in the corner for that giveaway and you can win your very own one of these. I will have a blank piece of Kaizen foam in the back so you can customize what you want to put back there. I'm Andy Glass with Workshop Addict. If you guys enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, share, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.